bigger. Why do they always have to go bigger?
Hey guys, Jason here, and welcome back to another video. In today's video, we are going to be talking about a dinosaur movie that really stands in my heart. One of my favorite dinosaur movies of all time. No, not that one. Not that one either. Underrated gem, but no. Hell no, not that one! That's not even a movie! Okay, now you're just toying with me. It's The Land Before Time! Released in 1988 and directed by Don Bluth, this movie is probably one of my favorite animated movies of all time. Not because dinosaurs are involved, that's part of the reason, but the main reason is because of how well it was made. The story is engaging, the animation is fantastic, the characters are absolutely phenomenal, and the score, mwah, I love it. Part of why this movie is so impressive is because Don Bluth worked with both Steven Spielberg and George Lucas on this movie. That's right, the director of E.T. and Jurassic Park and the director of Star Wars and Indiana Jones were involved in this project, which makes it all the more amazing. But why do I love The Land Before Time so much? Why do I hail this movie as one of the greatest animated films of all time? Well, let's travel 65 million years in the making to find out. This is The Land Before Time. Before we get into the review, I would like to pay my respects to the little girl Judith Barcy, who was shot to death by her father shortly after The Land Before Time was released. She voiced Ducky in The Land Before Time and Anne-Marie from All Dogs Go to Heaven, and she will sadly be missed. Let's have a moment of silence for Judith Barcy. Okay, now that we've had our silence, let's get on to the review. The movie revolves around a young apatosaurus named Littlefoot, who's the sole survivor of his clutch, and he lives with his mother, grandmother, and grandfather as the last remaining members of their species. To their knowledge, anyway. One day, Littlefoot meets a young Triceratops named Sarah, who wants nothing to do with him. Oh, and I forgot to mention, there is a lot of prejudice against the dinosaurs in this movie, especially from Sarah's father. However, while chasing a bullfrog in a river, the two end up getting attacked by an evil Tyrannosaurus, and I must say, this is how you make a villain. The Sharptooth in this movie is absolutely terrifying. Not only that, but it's also relentless and will stop at nothing until our main heroes are dead. Also, it will not hesitate to go in for the kill when within close range. In the sequels, they have this bad habit of the Sharptooth taking their sweet-ass time and walking slowly to make sure they know that they're there, while this Sharptooth just hesitates a little bit, but then goes in for the kill. Which is why I love the first movie Sharptooth so much. If you want me to review the sequels at some point, let me know. But luckily for the two little dinosaurs, Littlefoot's mother comes to the rescue in the nick of time and fends off the Sharptooth, but at the cost of her life. This is where we get to the saddest part of the movie, Littlefoot's mother's death. When I saw this scene for the first time, I was in absolute tears. I was only 6 or 7 at the time, and this scene really had me going. It's one of the saddest scenes in any movie history, and dare I say it, it's even sadder than Mufasa's death. Let's travel back to 1942 for a second with the release of Bambi. When Bambi's mother died, it was completely off screen and it was implied that his mother died. Travel forward over half a decade later with the release of The Lion King. When Mufasa died, we saw how he died. Scar threw him off a cliff, and when Simba found Mufasa, he was already dead. How do they handle Littlefoot's mother's death in The Land Before Time? Littlefoot finds his mother on the ground in critical condition, and she's groaning in pain. She tries to get up, but she falls right back to the ground because she's too weak to carry on. Knowing that she only has a limited amount of time left, she tells Littlefoot to carry on without him and to let his heart guide him through it before dying right in front of him. Damn! That's messed up! You see this? This is how you make a movie. To this day, I still find myself in tears every time I watch this scene. And whenever I watch this movie with friends and this scene comes on, I literally have to tell everyone to be quiet so I can watch this scene in silence. It's that powerful. And ever since my mom died back in 2016, this scene makes me cry even more, because now I can relate to Littlefoot. We both lost our mother to death, and we both feel pain because of it. It's just a very impactful scene. Way more impactful than Mufasa's death in The Lion King. I'm sorry. This is how you do a sad scene. After that, we see Littlefoot depressed over the loss of his mother, and still in denial because at one point he mistakes his shadow for his mother. Damn! That's just cruel! He reunites with Sarah for a brief moment, but then she ditches him. So Littlefoot is back on his own. But the loneliness doesn't last for long, for he meets a Saurolophus named Ducky, whom immediately befriends him and joins him on his quest to find the Great Valley. Along the way, the duo meet a pteranodon named Petrie, who hasn't learned how to fly yet, and a gluttonous stegosaurus named Spike, who loves to eat. Eventually, they encounter Sarah once again, who reluctantly joins them. There's this one scene where Littlefoot, Ducky, Spike, and Petrie all try to reach some tree stars in the top of the tree, while Sarah sits in the background and laughs at them. After the others manage to successfully bring some tree stars down, Sarah gets jealous, but instead of mooching off her friends, she's determined to get her own food. When Sarah headbutts a tree, Littlefoot throws some tree stars over to her to make it seem like it came from her tree. After getting a good night's sleep, Sarah realizes the next day that all this time they were sleeping in a Sharptooth's footprint. Then the T-Rex appears again and attacks our main heroes, and now it's up to them to try and get rid of the T-Rex once and for all. After Ducky lures the T-Rex to a body of water, the monster then decides to jump onto a nearby boulder and try to attack our heroes. Littlefoot and Spike desperately try to push the boulder off the cliff with the T-Rex on it, but it was no use. The impact of the T-Rex jumping onto the boulder causes Ducky to fall off the cliff, which leads Petrie to finally figure out how to use his wings and fly. But just when all hope was lost, Sarah comes to the rescue and gives Spike and Littlefoot the strength they need to push the T-Rex into the deep water, where it falls to its death. Unfortunately, the Sharptooth manages to drag Petrie in with him, with the others mourning the loss over Petrie, especially Ducky. They are all relieved to find out that Petrie actually survived, and the five are reunited. After that, Littlefoot reunites with his mother in the form of a ghost. She tells him to follow her, and in turn, he finally makes it to the Great Valley. The friends celebrate in excitement as they enter the Great Valley and reunite with their families. Littlefoot reunites with his grandparents, Sarah reunites with her father, Ducky reunites with her mother, and her mother ends up adopting Spike as one of her own, and Petrie reunites with his mother, and they all lived happily ever after. That is until the Great Valley Adventure, but we'll get to that in a future video. And that was The Land Before Time, and it was a blast. The reason I love The Land Before Time so much is because of how well it was made. It's happy when it needs to be happy, sad when it needs to be sad, and dark when it needs to be dark. It's a fun family film that I highly recommend everyone watching at least once. I give this movie a 10 out of 10. It definitely deserves the ranking. What do you think of The Land Before Time? Let me know in the comments section down below. And that's gonna have to wrap it up for today's video. If you enjoyed it, be sure to leave a like, subscribe for more, it would really help out a ton. And until next time, I will see you guys in the next video. So long!